This shaping plan was originally intended for Ophelia, but because of some circumstances, we had to change horses, and so here I'm using Rosie. This shaping plan still works for her because she's also had some previous issues with ground poles, and so it'll still be beneficial for her. So as you can see, I just walked around the ground line and then walked over it and kind of just let her look at it a little bit, but also encourage forward movement. And this whole shaping plan is just to encourage her calmly going over and through ground poles. One theory that I am using within this shaping plan is systematic desensitization. And this just means that I'm systematically desensitizing her to ground poles just one at a time. And so you can see that I added another ground line here and just walked her through it so that she could kind of see what was going on. And here you see that she is calling for friends. So that was one of the issues that we had. She was very attentive to the fact that there were no friends and kept looking at the door. But so I was just systematically kind of walking through and letting her see each pole at a time. By slowly adding one pole at a time, we're just encouraging her confidence going through the ground lines and just encouraging her throughout that process. You can see I reward her with scratches and pats and rubs when she goes through calmly. And here you can hear her calling for friends once again. And I kind of let her just look down at them. That's totally fine. I want her to be curious about it. You can see I reward her there again. She was pretty relaxed throughout this whole first training session, which I was really happy with. Her head was low and relaxed, and she licked and chewed periodically throughout. And I made sure to walk around away from the poles when my helper was setting up the additional poles and changing kind of the exercise to reward her and release her and let her know that, hey, like this is good and we'll relax and release now. So here you can see that we went back to just one pole, but we raised it on wooden blocks. This is something that we often use in class, and so I thought it was helpful for her to see that and kind of build upon that. So here we added one more, so now that there's two, and again she's going through calmly. I'm very happy with how she's going through, so I'm giving her pats and scratches after each walkthrough. Here we added the third raised pole, and again you can see that she's really relaxed but moving forward, and so I reward and scratch and turn her around to go through one more time. And she again goes through relaxed, kind of shakes her head, licks and chews, and I'm really happy with that, so I reward once again. Once we added this fourth raised pole, I was really happy with how she did. Totally no change whatsoever, still very calm. And so I rewarded and we walked through one more time, and then I went ahead and had my helper set up for the next exercise and kind of change it up a bit. So with our next exercise, I just had two plastic blocks next to the pole. And here I'm just letting her look at it and sniff it and touch it. I want her to be curious about it. And so I'm doing big scratches, big rewards right here. And then we're going to walk away and do a release by not looking at it. And then we'll come around and walk through it. And she'll barely give it a glance. She's been doing really good, and so I'm really happy with that. And I reward and scratch again. Now that we have more blocks out, I just wanted her to be able to look at it, sniff it, touch it, and I was really happy with her response. So we did another big release and walk away. Some scratches too. So like Ophelia, Rosie is also pretty green, and so I really wanted to make sure I incorporated big releases and big rewards in this whole process. And it's overall a very low stress situation, and I wanted to keep it that way. So like I mentioned before, I made sure to walk away completely from all of the polls when my helper was setting up for the next kind of go around, just to really encourage that big release and encourage the calmness. And here again, you can see I'm letting her look down at it, letting her head go low. I want her to be curious and I want her to be calm. And so I'm encouraging that natural and normal behavior for her because we want that curiosity. Now we are on to our second session on a different day, and I didn't expect much else from her. I still expected her to be calm, and she was. And again, I kept releasing, doing scratches, and encouraging all of that calmness, and walking away when my helper reset for the next step. In our first training session, we had some issues of her missing friends, and so I had some friends come along this time, but they just came in at not a great time, which you can see when she raised her head up in that last clip. But we took less videos on this session because she was the same as the first day, and so I was really happy with that, and so we kind of just condensed it into less videos. But overall, she did really well, and I was really proud of her.